So today I want to talk about something that, whether we acknowledge it or not, is something that we all desire for ourselves. No matter how much doubt we may have about it, deep inside, most of us want to have an experience of peace and well-being in our lives. We want to experience joyful contentment that's in alignment with the values of our true self. But unfortunately, our lives often go in the opposite direction. Imagine your life as driving down a smooth road. Everything is going great, and you are confident of your direction and you're confident of your destination. Then all of a sudden, you find yourself starting to veer towards an exit ramp, one that you didn't intend to take. This exit ramp takes you down a road you never wanted to go. So this is an example of how self-sabotage works in our lives. We all have experienced it to some degree or another. In this video, I want to explore how we sabotage ourselves, how we get tricked into those old habits, those roads that are leading us off course. And more importantly, I want to talk about how we can stay on course and experience a more satisfying and a more content life. I'm Jess, and this is Living Free. So the leading cause of our self-sabotaging behavior is stress and anxiety. I have been going through this wonderful book called the Relaxation and Stress Reduction Workbook. This book has so many easy to understand and practical exercises to improve our lives. So please check it out. If you're struggling to align your life with your values and you want to find ways to immediately get out of your own way, I will put a link for the book in the description. So please, please, please get this book. You won't regret it. There is so much value that I know will help you because it's helping me tremendously. And it covers a variety of, various breathing and scanning techniques and, ways to essentially return our brain to equilibrium so that we aren't carried away by all the mental habits that are taking you down roads that you just don't want to go, to build integrity and to build accountability with yourself. So these habit roads symbolize pretty much anything that keeps you away from the life that you want. It could be something like eating too much sugar and carbs. It could be quitting alcohol. It could be an addiction to the couch and to the television. Anything that keeps you from your personal best. Anything that is an unconscious habit that you find yourself falling into that's keeping you away from the life that you want. So let's get back into this figurative highway. It's beautifully illuminated. We're at peace and we have certainty about the road we are traveling. So this illuminated highway, or path, if you will, represents our awareness, our intention, and our sense of mental balance and alignment. Along this road, there are many exit ramps. These exit ramps are our old habits, those neurological pathways in our brain that our consciousness follows and that leads us away from our true path. They direct us to well-worn roads, which we have traveled too many times to count, and we know exactly what we're going to find down those roads. We find sabotage. We find the sabotaging habits that are formed over the course of our lifetime. And this well-trodden path is created by repeating over and over again certain behaviors and certain thought patterns. And, they directly correlate with these neural connections. In the context of today's discussion, these are the paths of self-sabotage. Mental sloth is the subtle and sneaky culprit that seeks to grab our steering wheel and veer us towards the exit ramp. We've stopped paying attention to that illuminated path. We can only remain in the illumination when we are awake and we are aware, because the illumination is our awake awareness, right? But when we're not paying attention, before we know it, we are on the exit ramp, heading towards, those behaviors that we despise so much, but yet we keep finding ourselves falling back into. When we get too comfortable and distracted, our attention fails us. We find ourselves misaligned, imbalanced, and heading off course. However, we can learn to remain on course when we incorporate a sense of structure and a sense of balance into our lives. Now, I've fallen victim to just about every productivity method, every hack that's out there. Most of them demand that we buckle down and discipline ourselves to, almost a punishing degree. But before I go on, if there is any sense of ego that's taking all of this in, that is what it will do. It will punish itself. It is exhausting for the ego to maintain this kind of vigilance. The ego is the selfing aspect of the mind that's attached to future outcomes and outward validation. This is the aspect of the mind that is divided from the present moment, and it's created in the conceptual, in the thinking side of the brain. It engages in self-judgment. It engages in self-flagellation. So essentially, ego is self-sabotage about to happen. But at the same time, there is great freedom and well-being in applying structure and discipline when it's not executed from the standpoint of the egoic mind. It's kind of a paradox, I know, but our power to self-direct is applied through the pressure of intention. It's a delicate balance between firm and gentle. This self-directing comes from our more unified sense of self, not the self that's made up in the thoughts. This helps us not to cling and attach to the structure and idea of discipline. We are setting up our structure in a way that sets us up for success to stay on our illumined path. Now, this structure helps us to avoid the pitfalls and all the distractions that are calling out to us from the exit ramps. We don't leave room for any indecision, whether we're going to take the exit ramp or we're going to stay on the path. Now, consistent intention will keep you on the path, no matter what exit ramps you're trying to shut down. To rewire these connections, the pressure of intention needs to be applied. It doesn't happen all by itself. It doesn't happen on its own. We actually have to initiate it. We have to intervene some way. We are more capable than we think. And the more we apply intention, the more that we're going to believe in our ability to stay on the illumined path. Again, our structure is firm, but yet it's flexible. Balance is really important here. We have to have some sort of built-in flexibility to be able to adapt to life, right? Makes sense? Being too rigid and inflexible itself turns into an exit ramp that leads us off the path. It leads us into self-condemnation for not getting it right. And this is honestly why so many people give up on improving their lives. They're trying to do it as some sort of conceptual small self that wants to be perfect, but soon finds out that that's completely impossible. So what we're doing is we're finding that sweet spot of structure that keeps us open and keeps us flexible and not confined into rigidity. So often when we're trying to be too structured and too rigid, we place impossible demands on ourselves, and it becomes, like I said, about perfection and not about true growth. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. There is no way to peace. Peace is the way. There is no way to enlightenment. Enlightenment is the way." So we are structuring our life to stay on the illumined path. We realize that our awakeness itself is the illumination. We stay awake. We stay on the path. They are one and the same. Not awake is to fall into the folly of the exit ramp. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that can pull us off the path. In today's society, there's a lot of chaotic people out there. The chaos that we see in the world directly reflects their inner delusion. And this chaos also beckons to us to join in. It is those contagious mindsets and that destructive rhetoric where personal boundaries don't seem to exist anymore. People foolishly overshare and engage in ridiculous attention-seeking behavior. It's almost like this plague of narcissism. But sadly, it's just a reflection of people's inner worlds of despair. But my friends, we don't have to play along. We are traveling the path of wisdom, which has the established boundaries of our intention. We are focused on our path, so we have no interest in participating in society's mental problems, to put it bluntly. By staying on our path, we are setting a humble example, and that is our best contribution to life and to the world. We can disengage from those that seek to drag us into their chaos. Our awakeness beckons others to also wake up. So if you feel that pull towards an exit ramp, notice it immediately before you go unconscious. Don't fall asleep. Don't revert to the old habit, the old road. Notice that it always starts off as sort of a sticky thought that you just didn't see coming. Quickly acknowledge the thought, that compelling urge. Solidify your intention. Stay awake and stay the course. So stand up within yourself and reaffirm your commitment to your path. Stay aligned and keep your eyes forward. Don't lose your way. Stay present and stay aware. And the more exit ramps that we avoid, the more we rewire our neural pathways. Those old roads, they are losing their appeal. We are satisfied by staying on the path, the main road. And after a while, those exit ramps, well, they're going to become impassable. The exit ramp shuts down. This results from a consistent intention to self-direct our brains to rewire and reconfigure a new way of being. Every time, my friends, we choose that illuminated path over the exit ramp, we're getting stronger. We're getting more capable, and it gets consistently easier as we go along. But of course, patience here is a primary ingredient. We need an overabundance of patience because we're going to have those times when we're going to veer off course. A lot of those times, probably. And we cannot wallow in a sense of failure. Wallowing is just another exit ramp that leads us down the wrong road. If we catch ourselves starting to go down the old road, we gently but firmly and immediately steer back onto the path. We don't wallow. We wake ourselves up, we reaffirm our intention, and we get back on the path. We do this as often as it takes. We just don't give up. The journey we are on is its own reward. The reward is the path itself. We're not looking for external rewards. That itself would be a pitfall. The reward is avoiding the consequences and all that suffering that comes along with self-sabotage. So keep waking yourself up. Have courage and a sense of resolve, knowing that staying on the path is itself well-being and joyful contentment. Don't give up. This is your journey alone. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. We're not trying to get to a point of ultimate mastery. Mastery is a lifelong process. Mastery is the path itself. So please, in sincerity and in truth, trust your intuition. Trust your path. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that somebody out there watching was encouraged today. With that, my friends, I will see you all next time.